You need oxygen to breathe, and the only planets with natural breathable atmospheres are Earth and Lathe, or this mod calls Earth Kerbin. If you want to breathe on another planet, you are going to need a spacesuit. To know what is a spacesuit, you could just type in spacesuit, and this will list everything, as they all have in their description, can be used as a spacesuit, requires PLSS. This is of course the next thing you would need, which is this handy device. It can be attached to your helmet in the armor modification table, and the oxygen in here can be put in just like with the jetpacks taking kerosene. This makes you be able to breathe on the moon and other planets with atmospheres that aren't breathable. However, if you lose even one part of your armor, you will slowly suffocate. But as soon as you're wearing it again, you will start consuming oxygen and not suffocate. Outside breathable atmospheres, everything that burns stuff will just not work and stop after the first tick of using it. So what you want to do is place them in an artificially created atmosphere that contains air or oxygen. Make sure that everything is walled off with full blocks. Then place an air vent inside and a fluid container that is set to output. And you can start filling the room with oxygen. The greater the room is, the more oxygen this will consume. And now in here you can finally start burning your stuff. Of course, this causes issues with the door, because if it's open, you lose a lot of oxygen really fast. So what you want to do is make an airlock. These can be any size as long as there's space to stand between two doors. And now this is no longer a problem. There's a few methods how you may obtain oxygen. First one is one that I don't find very useful, and that is compress air from the atmosphere and then cryogenically distill it. This is going to net you some oxygen, but you're already doing it in a breathable atmosphere, so I don't really see the value in this. Then of course there's the tried and true method of just electrolyzing water. This can be done everywhere as long as you have water and a chemical plant or an electrolysis machine. However, there is a slight issue with this method, and that is that these infinite water barrels just do not work on planets that are not moist. You can fix that by releasing 2 bar of low pressure steam into a planet's atmosphere, which is going to take quite a while, as you can see. So this is not really an option until late mid to early late game, and either way will require a lot of time. There's of course an option to find ice bedrock ore, which can of course be harvested like any kind of other bedrock ore with the large mining drill. This will net you 32 packed ice per digging operation. These can be liquefied in the liquefactor to get water, 2 buckets each. And like I stated before, this can be electrolyzed into liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. If you're in some remote place like orbit where mining ice isn't an option, you could of course always import oxygen like any other resource. This requires you to set up some fuel and oxidizer on another planet where you can do that easily. Then select these with the oxygen you want to deliver. Shift right click the target and then right click the sender and then select the target right here. Now this rocket is just going to fuck off and never return. And we should be getting oxygen in here. Yes. Now in the case that you do not want to produce a new oxygen, you can always put a CO2 scrubber into your base. This will suck CO2 out of the air equivalent to the amount of oxygen consumed. This can be turned into oxygen again using the microgravity algae film. It is called microgravity something something because it only works in microgravity. That means in orbit and nowhere else. This is quite fitting because you can't find ice here. And this should roughly make your oxygen stay at the same amount. However, there's one small issue. If you do this and cycle through airlocks, The little bit of oxygen that was in this room will just get lost. And now, even though you didn't completely depressurize the room, there will be less oxygen in here, which is not very nice. Also, you should always keep in mind that NTM machines, no matter how solid they look, are never actually solid. And if I now open this, it says the room is unsealed. Because NTM multi-blocks are actually not full blocks. So I forgot to mention two things while recording this video. For one, there is this funny little item which just fills up your oxygen tank when right-clicked. It costs as much oxygen to craft as it gives you. However, it costs some steel bolts and steel plates extra, so I would not recommend it. And on top of that, this stuff you can harvest to get the salt leaves, which are then used to craft a microgravity algae film. But that's about it. I hope I see you in the next video.
Yummers, yummers, yummers.